Have you ever been watching anime and stopped to wonder how it was made and when anime started? If you have, then I have your answer. But to understand anime, you have to understand manga. Manga is what most animes are based off of, and mangas would be the Japanese form of our American comic books. The first forms of manga were in the medieval period and in the 10th century. During the medieval period, they were mainly Zen cartoons. However, during the 10th century, they were normally comical animal strolls. In the 1600s, manga was put onto wooden blocks. This was called Edo. Edo was normally classified by its rapidly erotic drawings, but eventually these drawings grew to encompass buildings and famous people. In 1815, the term manga was made. However, in the 1920s and 30s, there was a censorship put on manga. This censorship was only against those who criticized the Japanese government. If you criticized the government in your manga, then you were jailed for it. Jail writers were very common in this time because they felt the need to get what their government was doing out into the public through their comics. After this law was abolished, anime and comic and manga had a good start. In 1963, Astro Boy was created. This was the first anime. Astro Boy was about a robot who wanted to become a real boy. Just 4 years later, and the second anime was created. This was Speed Racer. We all know what Speed Racer is. In the 80s, a man by the name of Rumiko Takahashi came out with Ranma 1/2. His series created the basis for all animes drawn for the next 10 years. It wasn't until Evangelion that the basis changed. Animes can be created by two different ways. They can be based off their manga, or they can be someone's brainchild. If they're based off the manga, they have to take into account for how popular the manga was, and they want to keep it the same quality as the manga. If they're going by someone's brainchild, then they would have to create the characters through descriptions of that person. And they would have to go through the entire process of creating scenes. But when they use the manga, the scenes are already created. It normally costs quite a bit to get a manga aired on TV. The show Full Metal Alchemist, which had over 50 episodes, cost 500 million yen to put on a TV. That was 50 episodes, but this 500 million was before other costs were added. So that would be a lot of American money. To simplify, anime is hard to make and you don't make much money from it. The production is basically drawn by hand, the same as it was with manga throughout time. They just draw it in dense pencils, scan it with a printer or something, and then they put it on a computer. Eventually, they have a finished product once the background and everything has been created. Typically, for their soundtracks, Japan will usually have a band that makes a song just for that show. There are pros and cons to anime, though. There's something called escapism, which is a mental state in which you want to escape reality. Well, that would appear to be all I have time for. I hope I taught you something.